In this video, I'm going to be explaining the story of the Piggy infected novel. So the story takes place in an island called Lucella, which seems to be the main setting of all the Piggy chapters. We meet a guy named Ben, who is a human and also the main character. He's standing in front of his best friend's Ollie's house, looking for him. Now this is interesting because in the game, we're typically looking for George Pig, not Ollie. It kind of reminds me how the FNAF book changed a lot of details in the story, so we're seeing a similar twist here. Anyways, Ben has lost his family, and Ollie was all he had left. Desperate to find him, Ben grabs a rock and tries to smash the window to get inside. But just as he was about to break in, a pig sneaks behind him. Ben freezes in fear, unable to move because his legs are paralyzed by panic. Before he can react, the pig unfortunately hits him. So after waking up, Ben finds himself in Ollie's house and he's confused about how he ended there. As he steps out, he sees the wrench-wielding pig fast asleep on Ollie's dad's favorite lounge chair. Ben tries to quietly walk past, heading towards Ollie's bedroom without waking up the pig. Once inside Ollie's room, he finds a walkie-talkie, and assuming Ollie must have the other one, so he tries to communicate with him, hoping to reach him, but there is no answer. Ben just shoves the walkie-talkie into his pocket and luckily finds the key to Ollie's front door of the house. Ben exits the bedroom and shocked to find the pig missing on the lounge chair. And just as the pig spots him, Ben rushes to the front door, quickly unlocking it and escaping. Ben walked through the empty street as he eventually sat down on the grass and tried to communicate with Ollie again on the walkie-talkie. But unfortunately, there was no response. So we started having flashbacks about the first time Ollie got these walkie-talkies. They used it to play cops and robbers together. Then it finally hit him. If he couldn't find Ollie himself, he could go to the Lucella police department and report his friend missing. When Ben arrived at the police station, he found it completely abandoned. The only thing left behind was a note from TSP warning anyone looking for safety that the station was not the right place to come to. As he processed the eerie message, he turned towards the entrance only to see a mysterious hooded figure silently staring at him. Before Ben could react, the figure turned and walked away. But suddenly, an infected wolf wearing a police uniform appeared and started chasing him. Panicking, Ben ran for his life. But just as the wolf was about to reach him, someone stepped in and saved him, Officer Doggy, who tased the creature just in time. Doggy quickly barricaded the door with a desk and led Ben to a garage, where they found an old red car. But unfortunately, the problem was that the car was out of gas. That meant Ben had to go find some gasoline, and as he searched for fuel, the infected wolf has only been stunned for 20 seconds, just like in the game. Sure enough, as soon as Ben grabbed the gasoline, the wolf was back and chasing him again. Ben sprinted towards the car, fueled it as fast as he could, and leapt into the passenger's seat just in time, avoiding the infected. Doggy floored the gas pedal, and the two of them stepped away from the police station. Ben was smiling, feeling relieved that he managed to dodge the wolf, while Doggy honked the car in celebration. As they chatted while driving, the car suddenly sputtered to a stop. It had run out of gasoline because Ben hadn't put enough gas in the engine. 5 infected figures surrounded the car. Thinking fast, Ben and Doggy sprinted towards a nearby gallery, managing to barricade the entrance with a statue. Outside, the same mysterious hooded figure from the police station appeared again and took down a few of the infected. After catching their breath inside of the gallery, Doggy went into another room, but was suddenly ambushed by 2 infected from earlier. They knocked him out, and Ben obviously heard the thud and rushed to check what happened. Seeing Doggy on the floor and in danger, he quickly grabbed the taser that Doggy dropped and fired it at the infected, saving him. But unfortunately, Doggy was injured during the struggle. With no time to waste, they both made their way out of the gallery. As the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon, they headed towards the forest to find a place to rest. Ben and Officer Doggy finally reached the forest, exhausted from everything that happened. Doggy found an abandoned fire camp and started a fire, then sat down to rest. Meanwhile, Ben took off his jacket and folded it into a makeshift pillow and laid down to sleep. When he woke up, he immediately noticed something wrong. Doggy was gone, and Ben started panicking as he started to think the worst. He feared that Doggy, knowing that he was going to turn infected from his wound, had to run away to avoid turning like that in front of Ben. Feeling hopeless, Ben sat beneath a tree, took a sip of water, and once again tried to communicate with Ollie using the walkie-talkie. But this time he finally got a response. However, it wasn't Ollie. Instead, a mysterious voice came through, desperately begging Ben to help him look for someone. Without hesitation, Ben agreed. He knew all too well what it felt like to lose someone, and he wasn't about to let this person go through the same pain. So Ben grabbed Officer Doggy's taser and his bag before heading towards the school. Upon arriving, he found another note from TSP, warning that this place wasn't safe. But at this point, Ben didn't care. He had a mission, and as he wandered through the dimly lit halls, hunger gnawed at his stomach. He eventually made his way to the cafeteria, where he rushed to the fridge and started stuffing food into his mouth without a second thought, completely ignoring his usually picky habits. He hadn't eaten in so long that he chugged an orange juice straight from the bottle and packed the rest of the food into Officer Doggy's bag before continuing his search for the mysterious person's friend. However, he slammed the fridge door shut. The noise echoed through the halls, waking up nearby infected. Realizing his mistake, Ben decided to not run, but instead move cautiously to not attract any attention. But when he heard someone scream, he changed his mind and started running without hesitation. There he found a girl in danger. He quickly grabbed her, introduced himself, and in return, she introduced herself as Sally. To help her regain some energy, Ben handed her some acorn to eat. Oh wait, why does that sound familiar? It reminds me of Sally Acorn from Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyways, Ben and Sally were getting surrounded by the infected. Sally pulled out her bow and she used the acorn as ammo to shoot at the infected. However, in this struggle, she was unfortunately scratched. So I have a feeling that Sally might be the equivalent of Bunny from the Piggy game. Acting fast, the two managed to lock the infected inside of a conference room. After catching their breath, Ben asked Sally why she was here. She explained that she came to locate her missing teacher. Anyway, Ben used the walkie-talkie to check in with the mysterious person. He instructed him to go to the metro and take a train to the carnival where they will meet up, because apparently this person has a helicopter. And this made me think that the book might completely skip chapter 6 from the game. Anyway, so Ben and Sally rushed down to the metro station where they found an old train that hadn't been used for ages. Sally helps Ben to climb through the train's window, and once inside, he saw the opportunity to fix the train and get it running again. As he reached for a toolbox, he heard some noise that caught his attention. He turned back and his heart nearly stopped. A massive swarm of infected was approaching, far more than he ever seen before, even back at the gallery. Realizing that they had no time to lose, Sally grabbed her bow and started shooting at the infected. She rapidly fired, tried to hold them off to buy more time for Ben. Meanwhile, Ben snatched a wrench from the toolbox and began frantically to turn the gears, fixing the train as fast as he could. Finally, he got the train running. Ben was relieved and rushed to call Sally, but she didn't move. Instead, she looked at him with a sad determination. She remembered Ben that she got scratched back at the school, and she knew what that meant. There was no escaping for her now. All what she could do is stay behind and hold the infected off for as long as possible. Ben didn't want to leave her, but he had no choice. As the train pulled away from the station, he sat in silence, watching Sally disappear into the distance. A crushing wave of sadness took over him. At first he lost his family, and then lost Officer Doggy, and now he had lost Sally. And Ben truly didn't know what he was going to tell the mysterious person waiting for him in the carnival. As Ben stepped off the train, gripping the wrench that he used earlier tightly in the case that he needed to protect himself, the eerie silence of the abandoned carnival surrounded him as he cautiously made his way forward. Before he could process his next move, two uninfected individuals approached him. They introduced themselves as Billy and Badgie, and their conversation played out almost exactly like the carnival outro cutscene from the Piggy game. So this information tells us that Billy and Badgie are this book's equivalent of Zizzy and Pony. Billy was introduced in his original design, wearing a horde hat and his construction clothes, but he carried a barbell, just like his redesigned version. And as he introduced himself, he said that he wanted to become a bodybuilder just like his father. And Badgie, on the other hand, he held a vial on his hands. His sleeve was rolled up, and the strange liquid from the vial had been applied to his arm. But he wasn't scratched or showing any signs of infection, which is good to him, and he also introduced himself as a research assistant. And I doubt that this isn't a surprise because just like in the game, an infected suddenly tried to sneak behind him, trying to catch Ben off guard. But before you know it, Billy and Badgie sprang into action, beating the living hell out of that infected. And once the infected was taken care of, Billy and Badgie told Ben that they had a safe place where he could stay as long as he needed, and Ben was exhausted, so he obviously agreed, because he hadn't had a good proper night's sleep in what he felt like forever. So they left the carnival entrance behind, and climbed onto the rooftop of another building to make their way to the safe place. But suddenly, they spotted the mysterious hooded figure lurking nearby. So without hesitation, Ben and his new friend decided that this time they weren't going to let him slip away. They were going to follow him and finally uncover the truth behind its identity. So Ben and Badgie and Billy arrived in front of the mall, and they started wondering why this person would run to this place. And as they entered the mall, their eye immediately locked into the mysterious hooded figure standing on an escalator. Before the figure could escape, Badgie swiftly tore down a banner advertising Kitty's kitchen and threw it over the person, trapping him. Then Badgie pressed his foot against his chest and aimed his vial, ready to strike if necessary. The hooded figure panicked, pleaded for his life, claiming that he was just a kid. But that's when it hit Ben. He recognized the voice. The mysterious figure was none other than Ollie, which is his best friend, the person that he had been searching for since the beginning of his journey. Ollie explained that he had run away after his entire family was infected at the hospital. He had gone to another part of Lucella, searching for his grandmother, only to find her that she turned infected as well. And since that day, Ollie had been wandering the streets, desperately looking for survivors. And after reuniting, Ben introduced Ollie to Billy and Badgie, and now with their group complete, they decided to go down the escalator. But as soon as they reached the lower floor, a swarm of infected stood in their way. Ben gripped his wrench, Billy raised his barbell, and Badgie did the same thing with his vial. Ollie tried to use his fists, prepared to fight, but Ben refused to let him risk his life. Because Ben's mission has changed, he had found Ollie. Now his goal was to protect him, and using his fist was too risky. So without hesitation, Ben grabbed a nearby crowbar and handed it to Ollie. So with their weapons in hand, the group fought their way to another exit. But when they arrived, they found the door tightly boarded up. Billy attempted to smash them with his force, but it wasn't enough. That's when Ollie stepped forward. With the crowbar that Ben gave him, Ollie pried off the boards, cleaning their escape route. As they stepped outside into the open air, Ben couldn't help but smile. After all the danger that he had faced, he had finally found his friend. The group finally arrived to the safe place. Badgie typed the code to the fence protecting the building, 0000. I just noticed that this code is similar to the one from the Piggy game, the one from the house chapter, and the carnival chapter, and the city chapter. Just the good old zeros. Anyways, after he entered the code, the group entered the area between the front door and the safe place gate, and as they were inside, two kids suddenly launched themselves at Badgie as they were family. It was really heartwarming. But suddenly, another figure appeared. It was Willow the Wolf. She stood forward, revealing that she was the leader of the TSP. Ben was confused at first, but then it hit him. The TSP were the ones leaving those notes around. After Billy and Badgie introduced Ben and Ollie to Willow, she explained that she had been tracking the signal of a person in a helicopter. The same person who had been talking to Ben over the walkie-talkie. And at this point, Ben made a tough decision. He couldn't risk losing Ollie again, because he finally found his best friend, and he didn't want to leave him behind. So Ben decided to leave Ollie at the safe place to keep him safe while he and the others chased down the person on the walkie-talkie. As Ben was about to leave, the kids inside the safe place started to get sad because Badgie just arrived. And now, unfortunately, Ben and the others had to leave again. So the group walked outside, determined to find who this person was and what was their true intentions. So the group got into a truck provided by the TSP. As the truck rumbled down the road, Ben felt a sense of security that he hadn't experienced in a long time. Unlike the lonely night that he spent sleeping in the forest and the train, he now had friends by his side. So for the first time in a while, he didn't feel completely alone in this chaotic world. When they arrived, they spotted a helicopter next to a laboratory, but just as they were about to leave the truck, they noticed something shocking. Ollie had snuck into the truck without anyone noticing. He had escaped the watchful eyes of TSP back at the safe place, and determined to join them. Ollie explained that he came along because he needed to uncover the truth about what happened to his family at the hospital. So with a sense of determination, Ollie grabbed a baseball bat, ready to confront whatever truth lays within the laboratory. So Ben and Ollie entered the lab together, while Billy and Badgie stayed outside to defend the laboratory from any infected trying to get in. They fought violently to protect the others, but the tension inside the lab was high. And then, just like it seemed like the story was about to unfold, the book ended without any answer. The mysterious person on the other side of the walkie-talkie who Ben had been communicating with since the beginning of the story was never revealed. Based on the game, we can guess that this person is Mr. P, but the story left this information hanging, which was incredibly disappointing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed me explaining the entire story of the Piggy Infected novel. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you have an awesome day.